I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true. For the most part. So welcome back to Bobcast Coffee. This is going to be episode, not a clue. What was I saying? 76? Yeah. 76.
76. Spirit 76.
Right. And I'm sitting here drinking, once again, I'm drinking from my chosen mug, praying for Jeff's soul. And cheers. So today, I invited Jeff over just to find out a little bit more about Jeff. You've seen him in a couple of the videos. You've heard some of the stories. But how did Jeff become... So...
It's a long story.
It is a long story. Let's start at the beginning. Where are you from?
I was born in 1963, a little burg called Ottumwa, Iowa.
Ottumwa.
Ottumwa, Iowa.
Famous for?
Radar O'Reilly.
Thank you very much.
And the nearest phone isn't 3 days a ride by mule. I know that they put that in there, but it was a bustling metropolis of about 35,000 people until Morell's closed, and then the whole town just went
dust.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we are sitting in Yukon, Oklahoma, where I grew up, and a lot of the same thing. It was about 25. At its peak, it was about 30,000.
Really?
Yeah, and we're slowly getting back up to that, I believe. So, about the same size.
Yeah.
Same attitude. We don't have major industry. We have Oklahoma City. So, we're not going to die out because,
Do you still have those two flower things?
The mills?
The mill, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know why they don't do something with those.
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, well, one actually holds flour.
Okay.
And then the other gets bought and sold. Different developers, and they never get to do anything with it.
Huh, that's a shame.
So,
Ottumwa. Indian word.
So, what was that like?
It was nice. I mean, you had the farms on the outside. It was a great place to grow up. Not a good place to stay, but it was a great place to grow up. And I did a lot of farm work. I baled hay, detasseled corn. Really hot, honest work. Too honest.
Too honest. Not good for us.
But no, I was kind of. It was a little town. Everybody knew each other, and you knew everybody, and it was a good place to grow up. But I went into the Army because.
So, yeah, when did you join?
1986.
86.
Right after college.
So 86, all right, so I went in before college, or right at the beginning of college. So you went in after college. Did you go straight guard, or did you go...
I was 2 years regular Army. I did basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Armpit of the United States Army.
Oh, that is no bueno.
Yeah, and then I went to Fort Gordon, which we call Fort Resort, which was night and day difference.
As I've told my stories, I went to Fort Benning, School for Boys, which very, very beautiful fort. It is gorgeous, but it is also, they've made sure that the basic training stays hell. So
yeah, but I'd still have to shine my boots in that red Georgia dirt to get all over them. Have to shine them. Oh man! But I like the Georgia moon. Little moonshine came in these mason jars. Got you there and back.
I've got some Missouri shine.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
After the show.
After the show.
But yeah, it was okay for a while. I was seeing this little Georgia peach on the side. And,
For you younger people, that is, he had a girlfriend
yeah,
from Georgia.
kind of. Anyway, one day I was late due to the PT formation. We had can't remember his last name, but he was a sergeant. He'd been through Korea and Vietnam. He was about ready to retire. Never took roll. And there was about, I don't know, 45, 50 of us. And I brought my PT clothes with me, and they're running by, and I kind of peek behind a bush like. And then they run by me, and I just run in behind them, and we went for about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile. And we stopped, and we're doing cooling down exercises, and he's like, remedial PT will be at 1,700 hours. And Marrow, you might as well come along, too, for trying to bullshit your way into a PT formation.
Hey, you tried.
I was in great shape, though.
you tried. Would it have been worse for you just say, I'm just not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Not show. No.
Yeah.
You took initiative. You failed
miserably, but about 2.5 weeks. And he never took roll, and nobody said anything to him. Not a word.
He just knew.
Oh, man. Man. But I was in great shape. 2.5 miles in the morning, 2.5 miles in the afternoon. Oh, yeah.
Did you ever do the killer runs?
Oh, with a backpack?
No. I mean, like where they'd say, okay, we're going to go out for the morning run, which is 2-3 miles. I mean, really, that's what they are.
Yeah.
And we came in right before lunch. We started running at like 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And we didn't stop until like 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And we were dying because, Georgia is a swamp that they drained. So it's this all the time. So, did they ever pull any of those cuts?
But when I was in Germany, they'd say, we're going to do 5 miles today. We're going to do 8 miles. And they did.
Yeah.
So, but it was okay. Running is more of a mental thing, too. You just got to keep...
Yeah, you definitely are mental. So you'd fit right there.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It is. It is. You get the stitch in your side.
Yeah.
And then you just plow through it. And then the next thing you know, you're halfway through, Bill Murray stripes in your head.
Yeah.
And you're just running along.
Yeah. But Germany was nice. The people there were very cool. I had to go to East Germany a couple times. Everything was so run down and dilapidated there. It was just night and day. And it was like, I ran out of East German money, East German marks, and I had to give the guy some West German money. He didn't give me any American money. We both would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
And he was so happy.
To get something worth something.
Yeah, exactly. But all my life, I'm just looking around. This place is so run down. These people are going to conquer the world? They couldn't conquer athlete's foot, let alone the world. It was just that bad.
You were in Germany in the late 80s.
Yeah, 1987 to the end of 1988.
Cool. Did you ever run into
any Russians?
Well, Russians or Germans. Yeah. What was the feeling?
No, it was very good. The Germans were glad we were there. It also gave a boost to their economy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think at the time, at the height, $1 was worth 3 mark 60 pfennig, where we get the word penny.
Yeah.
But it was a good. They were glad we were there, and our job was to stop the Russians if they invaded at the Rhine River. I was in a field artillery unit. I was supposed to supply secure communications between the battalions. We would run combat wire. Now it's all computers.
Satellite.
My job is gone. After 9/11.
Lost your job to technology.
Yeah, go figure. After 9/11, I thought about going back in, but they wouldn't give me my sergeant stripes, and I knew a little more about the Army after I'd been in there, and you don't sign anything or do anything, and I just figured, if they're not going to give me my sergeant stripes back, then forget it.
Right.
Plus, everything, I'd have to be retrained because my MOS was gone. And they have I think they have the M1s now rather than the M16s.
I don't know. I had an M16.
Yeah.
That was my weapon of choice.
Yeah, I had M16s. But the funny thing about it, for about 4 months, I was on gate guard. And they wouldn't give us any live ammo. Here I am guarding a United States military installation. And they wouldn't give us live ammo. If something happened, if Joe Terrorist was right there, I'd have to find the sergeant of the guard. You have to come find the officer there. By that time, who knows what would
You
happen.
just say, hey, hang on. Wait one moment.
Wait one moment.
We'll be right with you. I promise. I'm from the government.
Yeah. Kind of like that Robin Williams, Jerry Reed thing. I brought the wrong bullets. Silly me. It could happen to anybody. What do you want me to do? Make a few snowballs when you get the right bullets to shoot at me? Do you mind? Oh, no, you go right ahead. Oh, bless you. I knew you were church people. All right, I'll just mosey. Liar! Same thing. The only time they ever did give me live rounds was during the riots. When I was
the LA riots.
You were there.
Yeah.
I think you and...
I've got fun stories of the LA riots.
Yeah, me too.
But yours are totally different kind of stories.
Yeah.
So what were you doing? What were you doing during the LA riots?
Well, I was watching it on TV, and I'm like, this is not good. And sure enough, about 2 hours later, I get a call telling me to get my ass down to the armory and don't stop to pick any flowers on the way.
Get here.
Yeah. And I get on the I was living in Altadena at the time, and I got on the 134, and there was nobody there. Nobody. I'm serious. No traffic, no nothing. I felt like the Omega Man. I got on the 101, same thing. Nobody around.
And if you've never been to LA, you don't go on the 101 or any of the freeways without having at least a bunch of cars.
And there was nobody, and it was kind of creepy. It was kind of creepy. And I get to the armory, and everyone thinks you just call the National Guard and they just show up. It takes 3 days.
Pretty much.
You gotta talk to a lawyer. You gotta make sure everything's working. They have to make a decision, and that's really what takes a long time, making a decision. At first, they were going to send us out with no ammo. Then they were going to send us out with one bullet. Finally, they decided on 80 rounds, and I picked up another 80 because I knew the armory. But, yeah, exactly.
You didn't see that.
Exactly. If you're going to die, you're going to die last.
Yeah.
But we got out there, and these gang members, if you can fight back, they don't want to mess with you. And we had M16s and all kinds of stuff. But the people were very, very nice. Very nice. We got out I was at the corner of Crenshaw and Manchester.
Mostly peaceful protest?
No, it was like a flashpoint. Yeah. And then everybody decided, hey, and then it gradually died down, Order was restored. But I was at the corner of Crenshaw and Manchester.
Ugh.
And another time I was at Century in Van Ness, and I see this low wall. We're by a 7-Eleven and a post office. And I'm thinking they just put somebody here at that low wall. We've had it. But they're not very tactical.
No, they're not tactically.
So that was okay. But I get out there, and I was talking to this cop. We just get out there, and she says, yo, you three come with me. You three go with him. And we get out there, and she's like, okay, gentlemen, I want you to know a couple of things. It's my day. It was supposed to be my day off today. I had an argument with my husband, and it's my time of the month. I'm in no mood for shit.
We're sending you in first.
And she goes, any questions? And me, I was feeling, I'm like, yeah. You any good with that gun? Sounded like John Wayne. And she looks at me, and she goes, I hit what I aim at. And I went from John Wayne to Wally Cox. Well, that's good enough for me. And I thought one guy tried to crash through the barricade, and she had that gun out and pointed it right at his head. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to see somebody get shot. This is not good. But fortunately, he backed off. And another night, we went out with this other cop, and he was surprised to see us. He's like, what are you guys doing out here? And I'm like, anything, get out of the house. And just as I said that, there was some gunfire down the street. And he looked, and he said, well, you're out, friend. You're as far out as you're going to make it.
Well, the whole time you guys are doing that, I'll have to make a story on this one. I was doing a children's theater, and the riot started while we were in performance. So when we got out, the school that we were performing for got the kids on the bus and were gone like within seconds. Usually they hang around and let the kids look and poke around. They were gone, and we're like, well, that was weird. And when we were breaking down the set, we realized that the riot was going on, and we packed everything and went to our producer's house. They lived in L.A., but in a loft off the 5. And everybody got there because they had a fenced-in, lockable parking lot. So we just put all our cars, we had the whole set in the back, and we just loaded that parking lot, locked that gate, and we went upstairs and realized that their windows that faced an on-ramp to the 5 had bullet holes all in it. But it was an old factory. So they had the big crank-down metal outside storm shelter, or storm, whatever you call those things. And they cranked those down, and we sat there and drank until like 2, 3 in the morning when we all got in our cars and made our runs back, because most everybody does not live in L.A. Pasadena, Altadena, Azusa. I mean, we were all out along the freeway, the 210 freeway. So, but that's what we did, and you were standing out in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, I remember walking down Hollywood Boulevard, looking at the stars and along the sidewalk, and said, "Well, you always wanted to be here. Here you are." I said, "Yeah, but this isn't quite what I had in mind." Not at all. Not walking with an M16, and it was so funny because I was walking with a guy, and he saw this really nice looking woman. He goes, "Hey, babe, hi, how you doing?" And he got totally. I gave him no end of crap about that.
Why would you even go there? It's L.A.
I know.
For a riot.
And then there was a Northridge earthquake, and he got called out for, which was a bit different because everybody was in the same boat. There was no anger or anything. You were just trying to help people. Now, were you there when that earthquake? Yeah,
I was working. I was living on site in the mini storage.
1990. Yeah, I was. It was like someone, and I was in Van Nuys. I was right by the epicenter. It was like somebody picked up the house and was just shaking it, and I couldn't see. You couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. I couldn't find a flashlight, but I found a book of matches, and I was just getting ready to.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right. For those who may not know, earthquakes tear up everything.
Oh yes.
And the last thing you want to do is light a match. Especially when you're living in an apartment that's full of gas lines.
So unfortunately I stopped in time, but everybody was pretty much in the same boat during that. We had to go out there and guard a trailer court. And those gas lines are really close together. And we found this one idiot piling brush he had fire insurance and earthquake insurance. That whole place could have went kaboom, us right along with it. I wanted to shoot him. But fortunately the cops arrested him and, got him out of there. Then one time we were at Santa Monica guarding an apartment building, got red tag, those little and
no more entry, doesn't matter. Does not matter.
And people were begging us to go let them inside to get their stuff. And I'm like, look, I can't let you in there because it's red tag. It's dangerous. I wouldn't go in there, okay? So that's it. You're not going in there. That's it. And about 4 hours later, I'm talking to one of my partners, just like I'm talking to you right now, and in the corner of my eye, they had a ladder and trying to sneak around the back. And I just went back there, and it was like, so I go back there, and I got my arms crossed, and they're like, shh, we gotta be quiet. Shh, watch it. And I'm like, guys, and you just won't play the game, will you? I keep laying down the rules. Get your ladder. Come on. So I called them out to the front. And I said, aren't you ashamed? Didn't I tell you not to go in there? Didn't I say that? And just as I said that, you hear this, it was a 3-story, and something fell. And I'm like, get your asses out. And if I see you again here within 100 yards of this place, I will have your asses arrested. Make no mistake. Oh, I was mad.
Red tag does not mean you cannot ever go in. It means at this moment, it's too dangerous. We do not know if it's going to come down this second or not. The government doesn't just want you to lose all your stuff. And during the daylight, during the time when when the people who have the authority to say, we'll take 4 people in,
That's not you.
Yeah.
That's not me. So why are you trying to push on the poor guy that, I'm just here trying to keep you alive.
Yeah. Oh, I was mad.
Yeah.
If something would have happened to them, I would have got blamed for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your job was to keep them out.
Yeah, it was just stuff like that. But everybody was pretty much in this. Everybody was very nice to us.
And a quick note, please remember, if you're enjoying any of these stories, please hit the like button. Also, you can subscribe, drop us a note, hit any of those buttons out there that you like to hit, and have a great day.